Nick, thanks very much indeed. Yeah, we married the Mount of Danny Tulip. Second time he's having a go at her. You look at her placed efforts. You'd like to go and win one. She can do. I think she had excuses maybe last time out. The winner skiing, she'll come up the reel, and she wasn't a badly handicapped winner.
No, exactly. Had some good form going into that and had dropped to a nice enough mark. Good run before that at Doncaster and indeed at this track prior to that. So she's holding her form well. She's yet to win. That's the downside to her, and she's not been the stoutest of finishers in her races to this point, but she must have a chance.
6 Miss Barrigan has certainly got a chance from stall 1.
Another one that ran at Musselburgh last time out, ran well, only went down narrowly behind Ski Angel on that occasion, finishing ahead of Wee Mary. Nothing wrong with the win at Ripon prior to that as well, and should be competitive from a good draw.
2's Invincible Crown, blinkers to replace the cheek pieces.
Yeah, that will have to make a bit of a difference, edging down the weights, but hasn't really been threatening.
4's Suffalo, Yard Michael Dodds really clicking into form now after a quiet spell.
Yeah, and this horse's runs this season came during that quiet spell for the Yard, and a dual winner last year has edged back down to an attractive mark. Wouldn't be the biggest shock if you bounce back. 5 Masterclass of 1 of 2 for Paul Midgley in behind Hercules. Maybe it's a better chance. Yeah, good draw in stall 2. And not beaten far at Redcar a couple of starts ago. Maybe have an excuse given a wide draw last time. In orange green, number 8's Irish Dancer. Holding his form really well this season. Good second last time out, but that wasn't a strong handicap. I know this isn't either, but maybe a bit more needed. Okay, we'll just drop back and watch Wee Mary in the black and red. Danny will get on board her from stall 7. I wonder, might she just take a bit of a lead today? And might do. There's a couple of horses that can go on, isn't there? Oh, Miss Bagran's nearly knocked over our presentation spot. Yeah, I wonder whether she might be better, Wee Mary, just ridden with something to follow for longer and only delivered inside the final furlong, but we'll see. Miss Barrigan looks in good old form. Fresh and well. She is. Back round, we'll get a closer look at number 1. He's just behind the winner's enclosure. He's the last horse going to go out behind stable companion 5 Masterclass, number 1. Heracles, who, bit of a class drop, really. Yeah, also looks fresh and well, bouncing round the paddock. Winner last time out at Newcastle. That was in a higher grade of race than this. Up £4 in the handicap, but he's a horse that's got winning form off even higher than this in the past. So, can make the argument for him, and he's as effective on the all-weather as he is on the turf as he is the all-weather. Okay, thanks, Chris. Right, making our way down to the 5 furlong start. Okay, making our way down. This is Miss Barrigan beating Wee Mary last time out. Yeah, this is a key form line going into the race, isn't it? See what we're talking about really with Wee Mary here as well, Niall. Just travels as well as anything really, but just doesn't finish off. And you sometimes wonder with horses like that if they're just ridden with a bit more patience, whether by not being as aggressive early on in the race, they've got a little bit more left at the other end. This is also a sharp 5 at Musselburgh, but a sharp 5 again today too. My worry for Wee Mary coming into the race was slower ground conditions, but the ground conditions aren't that slow. And Mrs. Bagran, I think, does look the horse to beat, really. She ran very well last time out, and she's clearly in good form. Yeah, she just hacked down towards the back with feet out irons for William Pyle. She was on her toes as he got on her in the paddock. She has got stall 1, the racing over towards that far side. Yeah, and that draw that she's got is usually an advantage, isn't it? So you'd be reasonably confident that that she'll be seen to good advantage. She's got a bit of competition on the lead, I suppose, here. Zuffalo has made it in the past. We Mary, it depends what they do. Irish Dancer will often go forward. Lady Bouquet can be quite free, isn't often too far away. So there's a chance that they go quite quick, but again, it is a track where the pace holds up even if they are going along at a decent rate.
For sure. Okay, right, she's just going to arrive down last of all. Miss Barragan. Let's go, Hugo. Blinkers on first time. His red car run would give him a chance.
It would, and the headgear going on for the first time could bring about a bit of a spike in form, I suppose, for Let's Go Hugo, who, on the pick of his efforts, is on an attractive enough mark. He's got 2 of his 3 wins on the all-weather, but his 1 turf win came at this track, so we know that he's effective on the track and on the surface. He's got some solid enough form at the likes of Ponty and Beverley off higher marks last year. They did try some cheap pieces on him at Redcar earlier on this season. That's only the second go that I think he had in headgear previously. They've gone for the blinkers today, and it wouldn't be a shock if it made a difference, because certainly on back form you can make an argument for him. It is quite a trappy little race, isn't it? I kind of thought Heracles was the one that, if there was an overpriced one, it was maybe him, just because he won a higher grade of race on his most recent start. I think he beat a horse that hadn't had that much racing, and the 2 of them were nicely enough on top of the rest, pulled a length clear. So I think he was maybe a little overpriced, but I thought it was such a tight-knit race, and you could make little arguments for a few of them and see if things went their way. Zuffalo at double figures, just with the yard angle.
Yeah, back in better form.
Yeah, because his runs came at a point when the yard just weren't having any winners, didn't it? And he's dropped in the weights during that period, given a break, yard now going better. There's definite pluses.
Yeah, stall 9, just the way the track is, the way they're staying over the far side, doesn't make life easy.
No, it doesn't, but we've had a winner coming up the centre, haven't we? So, admittedly from a dropped-out position on the round course, but
he's £6 below his last winning mark, and so he's got down to a good mark. And 6 winners in the last fortnight for the yard, so yeah, it's plausible. Miss Barragan ran is your 3-1 favourite. Heracles 4-1. Stable Companion Masterclass 5-1. He's well attractive support,
well backed. On his Nottingham form, he would have a bit of a chance, wouldn't he? I think you can give him an excuse at Ponty.
Stall 10
on his most recent start. That was behind his stablemate Matchplay, who got into a nice position, but as you say, he was out wide in stall 10, and I do think Ponty's just one of those tracks. You've got a wide draw and you end up with a wide position. You can basically just scratch the run. Horses, when they get that particular setup, run inexplicably badly at times, and I think that was the case with him, really. He was just behind Let's Go Hugo when the pair of them were behind Monsieur Fantasy at Redcar back in May. Monsieur Fantasy has won more races since, including at Leicester not that long ago, and the horse who finished in 3rd that day was a winner subsequently. So there's not a huge amount between those 2 on that piece of form either.
Okay, it's wide open, it's trappy. Let's see who's going to win it. Let's get back to Gareth and get the call.
Thank you, Niall. Just waiting on Mrs. Barragan, who's due to head into stall 1. And at stall 7 for Wee Mary. Mrs. Barragan heads forward. And Wee Mary to complete at the set. 9 of them then for this 4th race of the day here at Catterick. And they're off. Jumping away a little awkwardly into stride was Zuffalo from the widest stall. This is the Rodney Park 60th birthday handicap. And Irish Dancer in the orange and green is one of the first ones to show. Mrs. Barragan in the blue and white towards the rails, and up in between them Invincible Crown. With Lady Bouquet in the red and white diamonds not too far off. Heracles is a little wider out, and then Let's Go Hugo in amongst runners. The grey Masterclass is over to the inside. Zuffalo playing catch-up following that tardy start, and only has Wee Mary behind. They head down past halfway. Mrs. Barragan in the blue jacket is now shaken up. Irish Dancer down the centre of the track doing well, with with. Across to the far side, the well-backed Masterclass trying to get into it in company with Lady Bouquet, and further back to Invincible Crown as they enter the final furlong. A few chances. Irish Dancer misses bag around. Lady Bouquet coming through in the red and white diamonds. Masterclass up the rails. Zufalo staying on out wide, but it's Lady Bouquet who's got to the front where it matters. Lady Bouquet from Irish Dancer tight for third. Zufalo, and Let's Go Hugo.
Yes, the local winner, Lady Bouquet, has won for Phil Kirby. Warren Fentiman on board. And Phil had a winner, Nottingham, yesterday after a quiet spell. It looks like they're about to hit a bit of form again. She's won here for Mark Money 49 from stall 3 up that far side rail. Beats Irish Dancer in second place for Declan Carroll and Zach Wheatley. And looks like Zufalo from stall 9 in an awkward start has finished third for Michael Dodson, Conor Beasley.
Yeah, and as you said, maybe a bit of an angle going forward with stable form here, because Phil Kirby, as you mentioned, he's not had a particularly successful year on the winners front, but he's had one today, one yesterday, and clearly the horses are back in good form. And this filly by Landforce had dropped a bit in the weight. She hadn't really been threatening to win a race. She wasn't beaten that far in a heaped finish at Wetherby on her most recent start, but she's gone through this race quite nicely. They've gone a good gallop, and I suspect if you were right on the speed, you were probably overdoing it a little bit. Wee Mary does just look a short runner, doesn't she? She's gone on the bridle for longer than anything under a different set of circumstances. Yes, she had to switch out into the centre of the track, but there's not much there when asked. In contrast to that, having not travelled as well a couple of rows further forward, the winner, Lady Bouquet, has picked them off and hit the line well.
Yeah, I agree. When she won last year, she followed it up. She won at Beverley, I think Hamilton. William Buick was up that day and won on her, if memory serves. So she's down to a good mark, and so with the yard kicking in, she might just be worth keeping an eye off. I know she was well drawn, etc., but Phil's got a few runners over jumps at the weekend. Unthinkable at Beverley next Monday. So it could be a yard in the short term, certainly to keep it on the right side. It could have some well handicapped horses after a lean spell.
Horse yesterday won very well, didn't it? They got some previous form in France. This filly has won nicely enough, and I think they'll be happy enough with Let's Go Hugo in the first time blinkers has kept on, but track position played a bit of a part here. The leaders have definitely gone hard, and just coming from in behind them has helped.
Okay, let's tie up the full result.